You might not notice it at first. You wake up in the morning and there's a heaviness in your heart. Maybe life hasn't gone the way you planned. Maybe there are wounds you don't talk about anymore because you feel like no one would understand. Or maybe you've just been quietly surviving, going through the motions without really feeling alive. But here's something I want you to hold on to. Just because you can't see progress doesn't mean it's not happening. Just because you can't feel light right now doesn't mean you're not moving toward it. Sometimes you're closer to a breakthrough than you realize. And sometimes you're closer to a deep connection with the one who created you than you've ever been, even in your pain. Think about the times you felt you had nothing left, yet somehow you got through. The nights you thought would break you, yet morning still came. The situations you thought were the end, but they weren't. You kept breathing, you kept moving forward, even if it was just one small step at a time. That endurance, that unseen strength is not an accident. It's a sign. It's a sign that you're being carried in ways you don't always see. It's a sign that even in your weakest moments, you are not abandoned. It's a sign that you're closer to divine care and protection than your heart allows you to believe. Maybe right now you feel like you're failing. Maybe you've made mistakes you wish you could undo. But do you realize what that guilt means? It means your heart is still alive enough to care. It means you haven't turned cold. You're still reaching for something better, even if you feel far from it. That longing itself is a sign that you're closer than you think. Sometimes closeness doesn't look like perfection. It doesn't look like having your life in order or feeling inspired every single day. Sometimes closeness looks like struggling, stumbling, and still choosing to try again. It looks like falling and then whispering in your heart, I don't want to give up. It's in those small, quiet moments when no one is watching that you are closest. I want you to picture this. A child learning to walk. They stumble, they fall, sometimes they cry. But the parent never says, you've fallen too many times, I'm leaving you. Instead, the parent stays close, ready to catch them again. Every fall is not a failure, but a step in learning to stand strong. That's you. You're still taking steps. And every step counts. Look for the little ways you've been protected, without even knowing it. The job you didn't get that would have drained you. The person who walked away, leaving space for someone better to come. The delay that kept you from harm. The gut feeling that stopped you just in time. These moments aren't random. They're quiet signs that you're being guided. And maybe one of the biggest signs you're closer than you think is this. You're listening right now. You're seeking comfort. You're searching for something that feels real, something that fills that empty space inside. That search itself is a sign of closeness. Because hearts that are truly lost don't search, they stop caring. But you haven't stopped, you're still here. So, if you've been feeling unworthy, unloved, or forgotten, I want you to take a deep breath. You are not forgotten. You are not alone. And this season of your life, even with its tears and uncertainty, might be the very season that's shaping you into someone stronger, softer, and more connected than you've ever been. You are closer than you think, closer than your fears are telling you, closer than your doubts will ever admit. And maybe, just maybe, all of this is not to push you away, but to draw you nearer. Or sometimes you underestimate yourself. You look at your life and think, I'm not strong, I'm barely making it. But if only you could step outside your own story for a moment and look at yourself the way others do, you'd see someone who has been carrying more than most people will ever know and still finding ways to keep going. Think about the storms you've survived, the losses you didn't think you could bear, the changes that tore away pieces of who you thought you were. The moments when you were sure, this is it. I can't do this anymore. And yet you did. Strength isn't loud. It's not always the big victories or the moments when the world applauds you. Sometimes strength is quiet. It's getting out of bed on days when the weight feels unbearable. It's smiling for others when you're aching inside. It's choosing kindness when you have every reason to be bitter. And it's holding on to hope, even if that hope feels paper thin. There's a kind of strength that grows in the shadows, away from the spotlight. The kind that isn't celebrated on social media, the kind no one claps for. It's the strength that comes from facing your pain head on, from sitting in the discomfort of uncertainty, from refusing to let your heart turn cold, no matter how many times it's been hurt. That kind of strength is rare, and you have it. You may not see it because you're too close to it. It's like looking at yourself in the mirror every day. You don't notice the small changes, but they're happening slowly, quietly. You're becoming stronger, more resilient, more compassionate, even if you can't see it yet. Every challenge you faced has shaped you. Maybe you didn't want them, maybe you wished for an easier road, but those moments have carved depth into your soul. They've taught you lessons no book could teach. They've made you softer in some ways, tougher in others. You're not the same person you were before, and that's not a bad thing. There's a reason you've made it this far. You've been given a heart that still beats with hope, even when it's been bruised. You've been given the ability to try again, even after the 100th disappointment. You've been given the ability to choose love, even when life has shown you its darker side. Maybe right now you're still waiting for things to make sense. You're wondering why certain prayers feel unanswered, why certain dreams feel delayed. But sometimes the strength you gain in the waiting is more valuable than the answer itself. Waiting teaches patience, it teaches trust. It teaches you how to keep walking without needing to see the whole road ahead. And here's something important. Strength doesn't mean you don't break down. Strength doesn't mean you don't cry or feel scared or have days where you want to give up. Strength means you allow yourself to feel, but you don't let those feelings stop you. You let the tears fall, and then you take the next step anyway. So the next time you doubt yourself, I want you to remember this. You've been through moments that would have crushed someone else, and yet here you are, still standing, still breathing, still hoping. That is strength. That is proof that you are not as far from light as your darkness wants you to believe. You might not realize it now, but you're carrying more courage than you give yourself credit for. And maybe that courage is the very thing that's pulling you closer, step by step, to the peace you've been searching for. There are seasons in life when everything feels quiet, not the peaceful kind of quiet, but the kind that feels empty, heavy, and unsettling. You pray, you hope, you reach out, and it feels like nothing is coming back. The silence can make you wonder if you're on the wrong path or if you've been forgotten altogether. But silence doesn't always mean absence. Sometimes silence is preparation. Sometimes silence is where the deepest growth happens. Sometimes silence is a sign that you are being guided gently without you even realizing it. Think about seeds buried in the soil. For weeks, nothing seems to be happening. From the surface, it looks like the seed is doing nothing at all. But underground, it's breaking open. It's developing roots. It's gathering the strength it will need to push through the earth and reach the light. If you judged it too soon, you'd think it was lifeless, when in reality it's in the middle of becoming something beautiful. That's you right now. Maybe life feels like it's on pause. Maybe you're waiting for answers, opportunities, or change. But in this stillness, something inside you is taking root. You're learning resilience. You're building patience. You're becoming someone who will be able to handle the very things you're hoping for. Silence also teaches us to listen, not to noise, but to what's inside. Without distractions, we start to hear the quiet truths we've been avoiding. We notice what truly matters and what's been draining us. We recognize the voices we should stop listening to and the ones we should lean closer toward. Silence can strip away the unnecessary so you can see the essential. It's hard. I know. We live in a world that tells us every moment should be filled with noise, activity, and visible progress. But some of the most important work in your life will happen when no one is watching, not even you. You won't see it until one day you look back and realize how far you've come. If you've been feeling overlooked, like the world is moving ahead without you, I want you to hear this. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. Your story is unfolding exactly at the pace it needs to. The pauses are just as important as the breakthroughs. The waiting is just as purposeful as the moment everything changes. And here's something else. Sometimes the silence is a way of protecting you. If every door opened when you knocked, you might walk into something before you were ready. If every answer came the moment you asked, you might miss the lessons that prepare you for it. The silence slows you down so that when the right moment comes, you're not just ready for it, you're strong enough to keep it. So if you're in a season of silence right now, don't mistake it for distance. See it as a space being created for something meaningful to grow. Trust that even when you can't hear anything, you are still being guided. And maybe this quiet chapter is not a sign that you're far away, but that you are closer than ever, closer to peace, closer to purpose, closer to becoming the person you were always meant to be. There are days when you feel insignificant. You look around and see everyone else achieving, thriving, living the life you wish you had. You see people who seem fearless, people who seem unstoppable. And in comparison, you feel small, invisible, like your efforts barely make a ripple. But I want you to stop for a moment and consider something. The moments you feel small are often the very moments when your strength is quietly growing. Being small doesn't mean you are powerless. It doesn't mean you aren't enough. It doesn't mean that your life lacks purpose. It simply means that your story is unfolding in ways that might not be obvious yet. The fact that you are still here, still trying, still breathing despite the weight you carry, that is proof of your importance. That is proof of your resilience. Sometimes life challenges you not to break you, but to reveal the quiet courage that has always been inside you. Every setback, every disappointment, every time you thought, I can't do this, is shaping you. It is teaching you patience, humility, and the deep wisdom that comes only from living through the hard seasons. Think about the tiniest actions you do that make a difference, even if you can't see it. A smile to a stranger, a kind word to someone in need, a choice to keep going when giving up seems easier. These moments may seem small, but they are powerful. They are building a ripple effect that touches people and situations you might never even know about. The impact of your life is bigger than you think. And here's the truth. The feeling of smallness is often a sign that something greater is happening. When you feel powerless, it's usually because you are on the edge of transformation. When you feel invisible, it may be because you are being prepared for a role that is too big to see just yet. The universe or the force guiding you works quietly, often in ways that are invisible to the eye. You may feel frustrated, you may feel lost, you may wonder why life seems unfair or why progress is so slow. But the truth is, every moment you feel small is a moment of preparation. You are being equipped to handle more than you imagine. You are being strengthened in ways that will make the future brighter, more meaningful, and more aligned with your purpose. So, the next time you feel insignificant, remember this. Small doesn't mean weak. Quiet doesn't mean absent. Invisible doesn't mean forgotten. Your life matters more than you realize. And the very struggles that make you feel tiny are shaping you into someone who will shine in ways you can't even picture yet. You are closer than you know, closer to your strength, closer to your purpose, closer to the peace and clarity you are seeking. And sometimes feeling small is just the signal that something much bigger is waiting for you, something that only you are capable of reaching. There are times in life when darkness feels all-encompassing. The weight of worry, sadness, or uncertainty can make it feel impossible to see even the faintest glimmer of light. You may feel trapped, exhausted, or overwhelmed. You may even wonder if things will ever get better. But I want you to hear this. Light exists even in the darkest corners of your life. Sometimes it's not glaring or obvious, sometimes it's just a tiny flicker. And that flicker is enough. That flicker is proof that hope hasn't abandoned you. That flicker is a sign that you are closer than you realize. Think about nights when you've been completely overwhelmed by fear or sadness. Remember the moment you took a deep breath and kept moving forward, even if it was only a small step. That's the light showing up in your life. That's a sign that you are being guided, protected, and held, even when you can't feel it. Sometimes the most powerful growth happens in the darkness. It's in those moments of struggle that your resilience is being built. It's in the nights of despair that your strength is quietly expanding. And it's in your willingness to keep trying, to keep hoping, to keep believing that you prove to yourself just how capable you truly are. You may have made mistakes or faced setbacks that feel unforgivable. You may carry regrets that seem too heavy to bear. But even in that darkness, the light is there, waiting for you to notice it, embrace it, and follow it. Every time you choose to keep going, every time you forgive yourself, every time you take even the smallest step forward, you are stepping closer to that light. I know it's hard. I know the weight sometimes feels unbearable. But remember this, the darkness is not a punishment. It is a classroom. It is a place of preparation. And the lessons you learn here, patience, trust, courage, and self-love, will guide you to a brighter place, to a space where peace is not just a dream, but a reality you can touch. Even when everything seems uncertain, even when the future looks blurry, you are not lost. You are not alone. The flicker of light inside you, inside your life, is a sign that you are closer than you think. Closer to clarity, closer to hope, closer to the sense of calm that comes when you realize that every struggle, every challenge, every tear has a purpose. So hold on to that light, protect it, nourish it, and know that with each step you take toward it, you are moving closer to a life filled with peace, joy, and understanding. Even when it feels invisible, it's there and it's guiding you every single day. Perhaps you felt it, the sense that no one truly understands what you're going through. Maybe the world seems too heavy, too fast, too unkind. Maybe you've carried burdens in silence because you didn't want to be a burden to anyone else. Perhaps you felt lonely in a room full of people. But I want you to hear this clearly. You are never alone. Not for a single moment. Even when it feels like the world has turned away, even when your heart is hurting and your tears fall silently, there is a presence beside you, holding you, guiding you, protecting you. Think about every time you've survived something that felt impossible. Every time you found courage when there seemed to be none. Every time you smiled when the pain inside wanted to drown you. You did not do it alone. You may not have seen the support, the protection, or the guidance, but it was there. In every small sign, every coincidence, every unexpected moment that led you through, you were never truly alone. Sometimes closeness isn't loud, it's quiet. It doesn't announce itself. You feel it in the small things, the unexpected kindness of a stranger, a timely word that lifts your heart, a door closing so another can open. These are all reminders that you are being watched over and cared for, even in the moments when you feel unseen. You may have doubts, you may have fears, you may ask, why me? Why now? But these questions do not change the truth. You are accompanied through every storm, every trial, every lonely night. There is a source of comfort that surrounds you, even when you cannot feel it fully. And the more you open your heart to trust even a little, the closer you will feel to it. Look at your life, all the ways you have been guided without realizing it. The opportunities you didn't see coming, the people who came into your life just when you needed them. the lessons that prepared you for what was ahead. Each of these moments is a thread, weaving a fabric of care and protection around you. You are closer than you realize, closer than your doubts, fears, or struggles want you to believe. Every heartbeat, every breath, every choice you've made to keep going has brought you to this moment. A moment where you can pause, feel, and know that you are being supported in ways you may never fully see, but that are real nonetheless. So when you feel lost, when you feel unseen, when the weight of life presses down on you, remember this: you are never alone. You are never abandoned. You are being carried, guided, and protected, quietly, patiently, and endlessly. And as long as you hold on to that truth, you are already closer than you think. You have been stronger than you realize, braver than you believe, and more loved than you can imagine. Even in your silence, your pain, your doubts, you are moving forward, and every step you take is proof of a connection that is always with you, always near, and never leaving. As you sit here listening, reflecting, or simply breathing, I want you to remember one simple truth. Your journey matters. Every step you've taken, every struggle you've faced, every tear and every smile, they are all part of something bigger than you may ever fully understand. Life can feel heavy, it can feel unfair, confusing, and sometimes even cruel. But even in the moments when it feels unbearable, there is meaning. Even when the path seems hidden or the way forward is unclear, there is guidance, there is care, there is love surrounding you, quietly, patiently, endlessly. You may have doubted yourself. You may have questioned whether you were enough. But think about how far you've come. Every day you've woken up and kept going. Every time you've chosen hope over despair. Every moment you've refused to give up on yourself. That is courage. That is strength. That is proof that you are never as far from light as you sometimes think. And here's the beautiful part. Your journey is yours alone. No one else can walk it for you. No one else can feel the depths of your struggles, the weight of your choices, or the quiet victories you achieve in moments no one sees. And yet every step you take is witnessed in ways you cannot measure, in ways that matter far more than you know. Perhaps the most important sign that you are closer than you realize is your own heart. The fact that you keep seeking, keep hoping, keep longing for more understanding, more peace, more light, that alone is a sign that you are being guided, that you are moving forward, that you are never abandoned. So I want you to take a deep breath and hold it in your heart. You are stronger than your struggles. You are braver than your fears. You are more loved than you can imagine. And you are closer than you think, closer to healing, closer to peace, closer to the calm assurance that every step you've taken, every tear you've shed, and every moment of doubt has been leading you here to a place of hope, resilience, and quiet strength. Embrace your journey, trust the process, celebrate the small victories, honor the lessons learned in the hardest moments, and most importantly, trust yourself. Trust that even when you cannot see it, the light is moving toward you, surrounding you and drawing you ever closer to the life you are meant to live. Your journey is not over. It is unfolding perfectly, beautifully, intentionally, and as long as you keep moving, keep breathing, and keep believing, you will continue to discover just how close you truly are to the strength, the guidance, and the peace that has always been with you. You are not lost. You are not forgotten. You are exactly where you need to be, and you are closer than you could ever imagine.